So my buddy Ryan came over today because we were going to shoot a video about installing running boards on a Cybertruck, but it is just a nasty day. So we're going to postpone that and instead do a Cybertruck FSD video on Brian. Welcome to Future Rasa.
We go somewhere where you want to navigate to. Navigate to
Rainier, Oregon.
So it doesn't depart on its own. I don't think any of them do. Some of them do.
That's next.
Yeah, sometimes
Unpark.
Yeah. Oh, it does. I got auto park a week before FSD. That was kind of cool.
Hilariously, in Florida, he wanted to. He made everyone back in for the light show instead of point in, and he's like, "Okay, just turn the wheel a little," and people would turn the wheel 80 degrees, 70 degrees, because it's only a little bit of motion at those speeds, you guys. So they were
Especially this guy.
a little crooked.
So,
Now, you have not had the FSD experience
Pardon my tools.
before
No.
in a Tesla because you did
Not
not.
gonna do anything.
Sometimes it'll do a cha-cha.
Yeah. So we're
Yeah.
almost. Sweet.
I think you should.
Okay, let's just go.
You got
Okay,
a
give it a
couple
little-
cars behind
Give it a
you.
little push.
Little push. It did the red light, the flashing red light cha-cha. It is. It doesn't usually do that during daylight hours. Now, you haven't had FSD before. What's?
Yeah, I haven't encountered a lot of that kind of stop sign with a flashing light.
I'm sorry, I meant you
Oh,
haven't experienced
tried
it
this.
in other Teslas.
No, so 3 weeks before I picked this up in May, I Turoed a Model 3. Was my very first Tesla riding experience. It didn't have FSD, but it did have whatever autopilot, I guess.
Didn't I make you drive not a Plaid, but an S?
Yes. And I was blown away by the turn signal shutting itself off.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, how does, there's no mechanical counter clicker. How is this going to... Yep, we'll jump down the freeway and back.
Holding
Our
steady.
turn. Here we go.
Did good.
Okay, now
Held
are we gonna apex this? Okay, didn't clip the curb. That's happened once or twice. There's a particular center divider that it really likes to hit the flag,
Well, and that one is covered in leaves,
right?
so I can see that one being missed. Everything is looking good.
Doing 20. So I turned off the automatic speed thing. I tried it out for the first time, and quickly discovered that you can't tell it how fast to go. It just does what it does, and you can't override it at all. So I turned that off immediately. And I set it with a 0% offset, so it goes exactly the speed limit, unless I want to, flick it up
Oh,
by 5, and then it does over under whatever you want, which is super handy in school zones, which it doesn't quite understand the blinking school zone lights yet. So we have some signs to learn still.
very, very true. Now I have noticed that on 12.541, I can still, with automatic offset, adjust the speed on the highway only.
Oh,
Because you're probably, this is 12.5.5,
Yeah.
and it is, it's probably end to end. It's probably the end-to-end neural net,
Yes, it is that.
where mine is not.
Oh.
So that's why I can control my speed. on the
Oh,
highway.
that's right. You don't get the end-to-end until 12.5.6 or something, I think, or something. I don't know. All right, so we're kind of
Yeah.
not in our lane.
No. Are we in? Oh, we're in.
We're over a little bit.
We're in 2 lanes.
Yeah.
No one may turn because we are straddling.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they might be able to speed. Is it loud? Windshield wiper?
It's got a thud at the bottom of the range there. And like the mantis shrimp, at the very tip of it, it cracks the sound barrier.
Yes.
It's long, is what I'm saying.
Like a bullet.
Yeah. I don't know if you caught my joke about people who eat spiders in their sleep.
Yeah. It's like 200 pounds. Spiders, isn't it?
Well, the
5
original
pounds.
myth is 8 spiders.
8 spiders.
And I just added the word
per day. Per evening.
Right? It would be probably, I don't know, 100 or something to get you there.
Yeah, how many grams are a spider? What kind of spider is
It's a
it?
20th. I Googled it. A 20th of a gram. So this is doing good here. This is a narrow road. It avoided the cars just fine.
right? Is that our...
Nope.
No?
This is
Okay.
the correct one.
This is a fun
This,
intersection.
I hope it doesn't try to do that ziggy-zag.
No, it ignores the navigation all the
Because
time.
that little ziggy-zaggy would be...
There's not a lot of
uncomfortable.
connect between the navigation and what it does. Like it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we had a fun one the other day where it decided you need to go straight. You know what? I'm going to go over here. I'm going to turn left. I'm going to go through the parking lot of the hospital and put you back on the road. We're like,
Okay.
okay. Hey, buddy, I'm
just along for the right.
along for the ride. I know people who say, my car, I have to intervene all the time. And I say, I think you choose to intervene
Yeah, I think so.
all the time.
Yeah.
Perfect. Because if I wasn't in the car, I would never know that it made that small detour. It didn't cost me anything. Yeah, I was asleep in the back, sound asleep. Yeah. Because
one of the things that definitely doesn't do well is lane selection, especially in complex lanes with multiple lanes, multiple turn lanes. I've got one that it consistently cannot get right. So recently it's just been picking a different route. I'm not sure if it realized I can't do this intersection. He keeps turning me off at this intersection. So I'm just going to go a different route. Or if traffic is forcing it to a different route.
So here in town, there's a spot where it will wait to 500 feet before I need to get over 2 lanes.
That as well.
And
yes,
it's like my friend, if this was my child driving, I would not approve them to take the test just yet.
No. That means to have a larger context window.
Right where that car is, I got stuck for 3 lights because the car had stopped too far forward and no one was behind us.
Missed the sensor? Yeah.
Missed the sensor.
Yep.
And I definitely didn't run the red light.
Nope.
Because that would be an infraction.
Right. Yes, that new infractions.
A little bit narrow on for these lanes. These are older roads, older lanes.
The road surface is an excellent bet for picking the lane up.
Yeah. I found that,
the ruts and the patches.
is 12.5.5 the first version you've got?
Yes.
Or was there one before?
No, this is the first one.
So you are lucky, my friend. You got to skip a whole bunch of...
Well, I mean, I had Blue's Clues.
Yeah,
So
and that worked.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew
it was great.
you knew how it worked,
Yeah.
and you.
I knew when it was going to give up and panic.
Now, of course, this, like we're talking about, it stayed in this lane. I can see where this lane ends. There we go. That's not too bad. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got some interstate construction on.
But it didn't merge. It put on the blinker and it didn't merge. Come on.
And it waits for the cones to push it forward. Which I guess is a proper zipper, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to wait in zipper,
Yes, but
supposedly. That's
keep,
traffic engineers tell me. Let's
right.
pick this up.
If the lane is within, if the lane's got a dash line, go ahead and get over.
Right. I like to, as soon as I can visually see the arrow that says this lane is ending, I get out of the ending lane.
If there's a gap, let me go. Now, another fun fact, we are not using external mics for this. We're doing it all on camera because it is so quiet in here. And I'm just hollering because, I didn't see it. And we project.
The fan noises put a lot of sleep.
Yeah.
It's not afraid of heights, apparently.
This bridge, it's always done well on this very old, fairly narrow bridge, which, by the way, that is pedestrian.
That's a bike lane?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, we've seen people using it. The original toll was 15 cents for foot traffic. In 1927, I want to say.
Wait, how much?
15.
Whoa!
Meanwhile, the ferry that goes from the actual town over was 5 cents.
You buy 3 packs of gum.
Yeah. Yeah, why would you walk across this? And you've got to go a mile to walk. Nobody's walking across it. All it is to prevent people from, I don't know, I guess it's the 15% end of days tax. And the vehicle toll was $1.
Did you put them on your eyes or in your mouth so that you could get across? Or that's a different river.
It's a different. That might be. That might be.
How like December is sometimes gets me confused.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sacrifice.
Mm-hmm. Everyone needs a guard dog to guard their gates.
We're gonna signal for the loop.
Oh, yeah. So we got this big loopty circle. In my car, yeah, it did the same thing.
We're apexing this perfectly.
Yeah.
If we were racing and going twice the speed, this would be super fun.
Don't know if you saw, Joe Justice has been racing.
Yeah.
Today, he got a notification on the screen saying seatbelt error, and all he saw was error, so he looked over and crashed.
Oh.
We miss you, Joe. You do good work. I hope you're feeling not too sore. That gives you an idea how long ago this was shot.
We got full self-driving may be degraded for weather detected.
My favorite of the messages is when it's pitch black at night and you're driving out in the middle of nowhere and it says, you know what? I can't see out of like 2 of my cameras. Yeah, that's nighttime, my friend.
Yeah, I got those. So rain got pretty heavy-ish for this region of the country anyway on the way down here. So I had my first experience with the maximum speed limiting. Dropping from the 70 mile an hour that was the speed limit down to 65 and then down to 60 and then down to 55 and then give up, take over immediately. I'm done. Wow. Right but I mean, it was pretty thick wash, you know, for the rest of the cars. I get it, I guess. But then it would kick back in a little bit later. And so.
And the rear view camera is looking. It's real dirty. Yeah, that's
speed limit to 45.
Yeah, it does that.
Yep. So most of the times it picks up the speed limit chain, and then we'll reset to the speed limit over as opposed to whatever I've over it.
And what do you think of FSD?
It's outstanding.
Yeah,
it's amazing. Yeah, I mean. Mostly what I do is prompt it with the signal to get in the lane ahead of time so that it doesn't wait till the 10th of a mile to miss the exit or whatever. And, you know,
and that's not a disengagement.
Right?
That's that's just a nudge, an intervention.
Mostly preference, right? Like it would still. So when I don't do that and it does wait and there is traffic, it still finds a gap lightly, right? Takes its turn. So, yeah, I don't need to. It's just, I like to get in line with everybody else. It's waiting in line to make the corner. Yeah, I was going to make tons of FSD videos, and they got about a week in, and they're super boring.
Right.
Really, really boring. So I turned the radio on. I found out that YouTube doesn't like that.
Well, no, they love it.
Oh, I said delete it. Delete the audio. So, are we going someplace?
Who knows?
Take a right. Oh, we're at the end of the navigation.
We're there.
Now we're in random mode, I think.
It's in shuffle.
We're here. Do you want me to park? I guess we're going to park. This is not a great place to park.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what should we put in for a destination, Tina?
Navigate to Disneyland.
Tina, where should we tell it to go?
Well, so navigate to Chicago. So with lightning, I would not have taken our road trip to Chicago, right? But literally, this is the amount of planning I did for the 2,000-mile road trip a month ago. As I went, take me to Chicago, and I said, okay.
All right, away we go.
Here you go. Right? And then I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Look, it picked all these places, and it tells me I'm going to get there with how much. It says, hey, you're going to go to Hood River. You're going to get there with 13%. You're going to spend 25 minutes. You're going to get to, and it's still calculating the rest. And I was like, really? You know all the way to the end of the trip how long I'm going to, and it was like 2% on the fun. So it was off for the first leg because I was doing a little bit over, but it quickly adjusted, you know, within half an hour. It was like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you get enough data,
Wicked.
you can do a pretty good job.
I mean, I had high expectations, but I was kind of blown away.
All right.
Got our next destination.
We are 12 miles away. So if this town reminds you of...
He's waving us through. We didn't recognize his wave, but he waited too long, so we said, I give up. I'm going. I think.
If this little,
Pretty sure I didn't see him wait.
little town reminds you of the Goonies, it's because we are in Oregon, and we are probably 40 miles from the Goonies
We
house.
went to that town.
Did you really?
Yes, and we went up to walk up to the house, and it has signs that say, please don't.
Please.
Yeah, please go away. People live here. There's a museum down the road that go hang out there. Okay. So I intervened there. I don't know if it would have done it. Intervene for oncoming traffic. I'm just gonna. Oh. 30. What visualization zone? Hey, yeah, see that? It's red. What's the deal?
Yeah.
Go. Good job.
I believe if you had gone, the other person would have slammed on the brakes.
Probably would have.
And it wouldn't have been an accident, but let's not do that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've done that 3 times over the course of 2,000 miles so far in the last 3 weeks.
Oh, I thought the sky would look cooler. It looks really cool in person, but, you know, yeah. So we have just finished our drive. We've done, I'd say 40 minutes maybe of FSD in the Cybertruck. You've had more experience than I have. We did have that one problem. Overall takeaways.
So it does very well at driving. It doesn't do well at lane selections. And it's a little too precise on apexing corners. But those are, you know, fixable things we can take care of.
They're
like
subtle.
The important stuff.
Yeah. The important stuff.
Slowing down for a corner, taking corners, you know, staying in the lines mostly.
Yes, I have found
Right.
that if a car is kind of edging out a little bit, it'll be overly cautious.
And yeah,
I am
which is
fine with that.
Fine with that.
I
Yep.
prefer it.
Hey, this guy's maybe drifting a little bit. Let's back off, right?
Yeah.
You know?
If a pedestrian is acting, moving unpredictably
Yep.
at a crosswalk, it'll err on the side of caution.
Yep.
How does this compare to Blue Cruise from the Ford?
Well, so it can stop at a stop sign. It can take a corner greater than like 30 degrees, right? Without panicking and saying, take over now.
Yeah. It's a different system designed.
So road work areas where they've got abrupt lane painting, all lanes, stay in your lane kind of things, Blue Cruise like would always miss. we stay in it. Well, I mean, I knew when it was going to miss. I was in it, did fine the rest of the time, right?
Yeah.
It's a whole different, I mean, they're not comparable. They're completely different solutions.
They are different. And what's crazy to me is that they're charging as much as they are for Blue Cruise.
I think they're revising that. Yeah.
They did revise it
down. Mine
down,
was
but
free for a couple years, but then it was $300 a year, I think. Or
I don't remember. I want to say it is just.
Then they revised it.
I think it has just gone down to $300 a year. I think it was $600 a year.
Could have been.
Did a video about it a while back. You can check it out, find it. Maybe I put it in the description, but I bet I didn't because I don't remember when that was. Ryan, thank you so much. We will get you back shortly to cover some accessories.
Sure thing. Yeah.
All right. Everybody else, like, subscribe. You know what you're doing. Stay tuned and juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots when it's not so chilly outside.